In the lesson of adding and subtracting polynomials, what you need to be paying attention to is like terms. And just a reminder that like terms in this situation, since we're going to have variables of different kinds and with different exponents, if I have an n squared and an n, those are no longer like terms. So if I have a 4n squared plus an n, I have a 4n squared plus an n. I cannot combine those. But if this has a square on it, then I could add them, and that would be 5n squared. So you're just actually adding the coefficients. And it's the same thing with subtraction. So on the notes that I gave out, going through the steps to add and subtract your polynomials, you got to look at the terms. X squared and 6x squared are alike. Negative x and 2x, and then your constant 5 and negative 10. And you just combine them according to their signs. And when subtracting, you want to be sure that you distribute the minus sign to each and every term in that set. The reason being is a lot of times students just put, oh, well, I'm going to subtract 2x squared, and then that's it. That's all I'm doing. But these parentheses say, no, you're subtracting everything. So if it was positive, it's now negative. If it was negative, then it's now positive, and so on. So this matters. You got to pay attention to that. And so once you distribute that negative to each of those terms, then you can go through the process of it's just 3 minus 2, negative 8 plus 6, 7 minus 12. And it makes it a little bit easier to work with. So those are your steps. And you always, always, always want to write your answer in descending order according to the power. The largest power goes first, then the next, and then the constant's going to be your last one. All right, so let's take a look at the assignment here and do some examples. So in this example, we've got 3n minus 7 plus 8n to the third minus 5. Well, I have an n to the first power and a constant. It is not the same thing as n to the third. So I have nothing to add n to the third to. I do have something to add the constants to, though. So when you're going through here, you just have 8n to the third plus a 3n minus 12. Make sure you put it in descending order, and you only combine the terms that are like. All right. For the subtraction part, you're going to be doing the same thing. We're going to set this up so that we line up all of our like terms together. So I have a 3n to the fourth plus n to the third, and I am going to subtract each one of these terms. So I'm subtracting 7 into the third. I'm going to line that one up under my other into the third. So I've lined up my like terms. And then I'm subtracting 8 into the fourth. I'm going to line that up underneath my other into the fourth. So what we have is 3 minus 8, which is negative 5 into the fourth. And this is understood to be 1 into the third. Minus 7 is negative 6 into the third. When I go ahead and line everything up at the beginning, then my answer is going to be in descending order. Into the fourth, into the third. And then I can count that one completed. All right, then let's get down and look at some of these others to perform the indicated operation. Let's see. I'll go ahead and start. Let's do one back here in the back. All right, this one is saying on number 9, this is saying to find the difference between g of n and h of n. So that would be written out as n minus 5 minus h of n, which is n squared minus 2. And you have to remember that you're distributing that negative, that minus sign to each of those terms. So we have n minus 5 to start with. We are subtracting into the second. There's nothing to line it up with. And we are subtracting a negative 2, which means we are actually adding 2. So when I line all of these up, basically if you want to put 0 n squared to show that you don't have any n squared there, and we don't have any n's there, you can do that as a placeholder. You don't have to. Just note that this is just a negative n squared plus an n. Negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3. I have this in descending order, and I've combined all of my like terms. All right, so to go back to how you add and subtract polynomials, you've got to make sure that you only combine the like terms. You only combine the like terms, and when you are subtracting, you distribute that minus sign to each term, and it changes its value to the opposite. Then you can go ahead and combine them according to their signs.